Good morning, everyone. My name is Isam Fahad, and today I want to share with you my professional curriculum and pedagogical philosophy, the value and beliefs that will guide my practice as an early childhood educator. So, first of all, I want to begin with a simple but important difference, which is curriculum is everything that happens across a child's day, not just the planned activity, but the routines, the conversation, and the unplanned moments of wonder. The early childhood learning framework describes it as all the interactions, experiences, events, planned and unplanned, that occur in an environment designed to foster children's learning, development, and well being. Pedagogy, on the other hand, is the how, the how I bring that curriculum to life, the professional knowledge, the intentional choices, the relationship I build with every single child. I believe these two things cannot be separated. Curriculum without responsive pedagogy is completely empty content. Pedagogy without intentional curriculum has no direction to go. My role, as I see it, is to hold both together, always in service of a child's identity, well being, belonging, and becoming. Play sits right at the center of how I understand everything. Vygotsky taught us that in play, children reach beyond what they can do alone, supported by peers or by us as educators, what he called the zone of proximal development. That's not recreation, that is development happening in real time. But I don't believe in just one kind of play. Children need the freedom of child led exploration to build autonomy and curiosity. They also need moments where they step in, guiding, extending, scaffolding. Because left entirely alone, some of the richest learning opportunities simply pass by unnoticed. In my Nurturing Agentic Citizens curriculum, I have seen this balance in action. Children roam freely through the bushland space, and then I bring them together in a storytelling circle that connects them. They are discovered to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander understandings of the country. That, to me, is play based pedagogy done with intention. When I think about how much control I hold as an educated versus how much I hand to children, I see it towards the guiding learning end of the spectrum. Not adult, where I dedicate the agenda, not purely child led, where rich learning might go unscaffolded. And then guided learning lets children's curiosity ride the path, while I walk along with them, extending their thinking with questions and provocation. This connects directly to EOL practice for intentional teaching. When a child, when a child finds finds an insect in the garden, I don't just let the moment pass, and I don't turn it into a lecture. I asked simply some questions, such as I wonder out loud with them. I turn curiosity into inquiry. I also believe deeply in emergent curriculum over predetermined learning. Fixed themes offer consistency all the time. We all know it. But they can close doors that children trying to open. When I left curriculum emergent from what children are genuinely fascinated by, like the time a child's interest in fallen autumn leaves grew into a whole investigation of seasonal change. I'm treating children as competent co constructors of their own knowledge in the spirit of Reggio Emilia pedagogical documentation. Inclusion is not negotiable in my classroom. An exclusive curriculum treats diversity as a problem to be managed. An inclusive one embeds diversity authentically. In the stories we tell, the language we use, the resources on our shelves, this reflects the EOLF's principles of equity and the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which affirms every child's right to participate fully. And it also it's also where I meet the Australian professional standards for teachers directly. Graduate standards 1.4 and 2.4 call on me to demonstrate broad knowledge of and the respect for and Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander histories, cultures, and language. That's not a checkbox for me. It's central to who I want to be as a teacher. And connection to nature. This one is personal. I want that some connection for the children I teach. A curriculum disconnected from nature confirms children to build manufactured environment. A connected curriculum treats the outdoor as what Rinaldi calls the third teacher, a genuine learning environment in its own right. Through regular bushwalks and garden-based inquiry, children in my care don't just learn about sustainability; they truly live it. Now, let me turn. Let me turn to. Now, let me turn to how I actually teach, moment by moment. So, I've got two strategies anchor my practice. The first is scaffolding, which is offering just enough support at just the right moment and pulling back as a child's competence growth. With an infant, that might mean physically supporting their first attempts to pull up to standing where I narrate what's happening. With a toddler, it might mean handling over it might mean handing over a puzzle piece already turned the right way without placing it for them. With the preschooler, it might be a single question during block play, such as, what do you think might hold that tower steady? That extends their engineering thinking without me supporting their answer. Scaffolding, well done, is one of the most powerful tools I have because it keeps the child's interest to the task while I extend it rather than talking it over. The second is demonstrating an explicit strategy I use parentally and deliberately for skills that are procedural or 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 safety critical, where my discovery alone isn't appropriate. Teaching an infant to stack two blocks by exaggerating the motion, showing a toddler the step of hand washing at the sink, demonstrating the preschooler how a paper boat floats on the water before inviting them to test or redesign it themselves. I am careful here because demonstrating sits closer to a transmission model of teaching, and if I lean on it too heavily, I risk closing down children's own construction of understanding, which is to use parentally. Then, though, uh, though it's not legitimate and necessary tool in my repertoire, not a default but a deliberate choice. Everything I have shared today connect back to the early years learning frameworks, five learning outcomes, its principles and its practices, and to the Australian professional standards for teachers at graduate level across professional knowledge, professional practice, and professional engagement. I know my content and how children learn. I plan intentionally, create safe and inclusive environment, and assess responsively. I commit to ongoing professional learning and genuine engagement with families and communities. So this is where I stand, a curriculum grounded in emergent, nature connected, inclusive practice, a pedagogy that balances guidance with freedoms, and and scaffolding with explicit teaching where it's genuinely needed, and a professional commitment to every child's right to be seen, heard, and respected. This is not a fixed destination. It is a practice I will keep reflecting on and refining throughout my career, Thank you for listening to me.